You got to fight your way through it. Hey, everybody, I'm the Dr. Bob Lee from 107.5 WBLS. You're watching Open. It's that live interactive program that brings the Bronx and New York City straight to your TV set. Stay connected to us through social media at BronxNet TV. Leading things off, we were fortunate to be joined by our speech language pathologist, educator, and the founder of the nonprofit organization Smiles for Speech Incorporated. She joins us to shed some light on the work that she's been doing to put smiles on the faces of youth all over the world. Please welcome to the show, Sandy Dorsey. Sandy, welcome.
Thank you.
Sandy, you got people doing a little bit more than smiling. They're laughing. Tell us more about this comedy show that we're talking about here.
Yes, so we have an annual comedy benefit show,
Uh-huh.
and this is a fundraiser that brings together really speech pathologists in the New York City community,
Uh-huh.
and we raise funds so that we're able to support the programs that Smiles for Speech runs around the world.
Let me see that smile. It makes people laugh, I tell you that. So tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get started in this? Because you went to Howard University, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
I'm a proud Howard Bison.
There you go.
And I started off as a broadcast journalism major.
Uh-huh.
And then after freshman year, I found out about speech pathology. So they were all housed in the School of Communications.
Yes.
And I was fascinated by it because it's a field that helps people not only with communication and language, but also feeding. And there's so many different areas of the field. My youngest client was a 5-day-old baby with cleft palate, all the way
Ah,
to my oldest client is 102.
wow. Okay.
So after 25 years of working in underserved communities in New York, I wanted to bridge the gap for communities in Africa and the Caribbean that did not have access to speech therapy.
Yeah. Well, this is still under the title of communications, right?
Yes,
Although
yes, it is.
you wanted to become a broadcast journalist,
I did.
but
Originally, I wanted to be a broadcast journalist, and I really wanted to be able to uplift the community of children that look like me. So
yeah,
I grew up in South Jersey, and a lot of times had only maybe one or two, you know, other classmates that looked like me, and came from a single mom. I was born in Baltimore, and so really wanted to have a voice for those children. And then
yeah,
moving into this area of children with disabilities, I mean, a lot of the children I work with are non-speaking.
yeah,
So I didn't go into broadcast journalism, but the joy that I found in that first
yeah.
job I had on 116th Street and Lenox Avenue at a school with children that were going through so many challenges. This was in the 90s.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, this field has been extremely rewarding, and I have been
Yes,
able to shine the light on these
yeah.
children in these
I
communities.
I can see it and I can hear it. I can feel your passion. You're very, very passionate about what you're involved in right now. Wow. And this is worldwide what you're doing here.
Yes, we are in 8 countries. We started in Cuba, then went on to Peru, Jamaica, Ghana, which is our largest program, Kenya, the Dominican Republic, Rwanda, and we're now starting programming in Tanzania.
Well, did you ever think, wow, that you would start something like Smiles for Speech Incorporated? I mean, how did it come about?
I didn't know. I didn't know. And when I was standing the first time in the school in Cuba and saw all the children with the Smiles for Speech shirts on, I mean, it just felt like God was directly shining his light in me. And I just knew it was my purpose and my lifetime um, work. So it's a lot of work, but it's just so many blessings that we can all, you know. you think that you're giving so much to these children and they give so much right back. You
Yeah,
know, to have so little, but you can see the smiles that they work with what they have as well as the community.
yeah. How are you funded?
So we have our donors. We are still working on, with the nonprofit. There's a constant fundraising, and we've had support, a lot of support from Regina Hall. She's our global ambassador.
Yeah.
And then we have our donors. So we're heavily relying at this point on our donors, but Regina has been really the backbone of keeping the organization together.
Yeah.
And then we've had our sponsors for the event. Speech in the City is a big supporter. She's a private practice in New York City, as well as Downtown Kids, Panda Speech, Speech Time Fun, and Burum. They
Hmm.
have been consistent sponsors for the work that we do.
Would you like to ask for volunteers and maybe money?
Absolutely.
Well, be
So
my guest. Say hello to my little friend.
thank you. So if you would like to donate, definitely email us at hello@smilesforspeech.org. We are always looking for corporate sponsorships. Our website is smilesforspeech.org. And we have a mission trip coming up in next year. Our dates are July 27th to August 5th. So if you're in the helping profession, we would love to have you consider joining us
Mm.
and working together for the children.
You have an area where they can sign up or get more involved on the website or social media?
Yes, there is a volunteer application on the website that they can go to, smilesforspeech.org/volunteer.
Yeah. Talk more about the programs and services that you offer children with disabilities and their caregivers.
Yes, so the first thing that we do is we talk to families and let them know that they are not the only ones that have children with disabilities. So mothers are shunned in a lot of countries outside of the US. They're faced with this stigma. The community puts pressure on them and says that it's their fault and the child is
Yeah.
cursed, the child is contagious. So there's a desensitization that we have to do and let families know that we support them.
Yes.
And then we offer the speech and occupational therapy consultations. We have workshops, a lot of workshops online, which we started during COVID. And
Yeah.
our first workshop had 541 participants. So we realized we can reach even more people, that way in far corners of
Yeah.
the globe. 17 countries were represented. And then we work with the students. We supervise and mentor students in different countries that have speech therapy programs. And most importantly is the parental resources. And that's letting parents know what they can do at home if they're not able to support financially to have services in their country if they're available.
Hmm.
And then also if there just aren't any services. Some parents don't know that there's
Yeah.
even speech therapy. They don't
Yes.
know.
So they go on about living their lives the best way they can until they find out about an organization like yours and the wonderful work that you're doing in it. How important are those caregivers? Because I know you can't be everywhere all around the world, so you have to reach out to the caregivers to do a lot of the work in and around their area.
Exactly. So, not all parents will be able to have access to the services. And so, when they have strategies to help them learn how they can increase language development for their own child, then they can do that work at home. And we encourage parents, here in the US, even that have access to the services, that speech therapy is maybe 30 minutes, or if you have 2 sessions a week, but the most of the time that is the parent is with the child most of the time. So they can be very impactful once they learn the strategies and different tools that they can use for their child at home.
Yeah.
So they will carry on the work. When we have our mission trips, we expect the caregivers, the teachers, the entire community that's surrounding the child to continue with the work that we do until we see them again.
I have a lot of questions to ask you. The show should be a lot longer because you have something that needs to be out there. We have 30 seconds. They're giving me 30 seconds. If we missed anything, I know I can't ask you all of those things in 30 seconds, but if you missed one thing that you wanted to mention, what would it be?
Well, in general, I would definitely want to keep the message or share the message that for any parents wondering if their child needs extra support, to make sure that in the US that you go ahead and have an evaluation. I know that there's a challenge sometimes that parents don't want their children to be labeled, but we want to make sure that during those first 5 years, when the language development is most important, if you think that you have some concerns and the doctor says no, it's okay if your child's not talking at 2 or 3 years old and 5 years old, to make sure that you seek an evaluation.
Yeah. So there is a stigma attached to it. So you're saying, hey, try to bypass that stigma as best you can and then reach out for some type of help. Listen, may God continue to shine a light on you. I know you mentioned something about God shining a light on you and your project, and you knew something was happening. You felt it in your heart and everything. May God
Yes.
continue to shine that light on you, and you continue to do the things that you need to do to help others get what they need out of life. It's so very, very
Thank
important.
you.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much for having me. It's been an honor.
You got it. And come back again, okay?
Sure. I'd
Okay.
love to.
Sandy Dorsey, founder of Smiles for Speech. We had a great time speaking with Sandy, and I hope that you keep the smiles coming. Keep it coming, keep it coming, keep it coming. We'll take a short break. I've got more next.